Welcome to another edition of Reverse Ambition, a podcast that features those who took a leap into their dreams and passion. And I have a very, very, very special guest, this brother, taking the podcast digital marketing scene by storm. He founded Pod Digital Media, which stands as the first full-service agency solely dedicated to servicing multicultural podcasters and their programs. The company works in partnership with leading shows and talent to identify, broker, secure cross-platform brand deals. After announcing the company like early 2018, the agency already on pace to generate over $1.8 million in brand deals in just 6 months, according to Forbes magazine, representing a current roster of 420 podcasts at all levels that collectively account for over 7 million weekly streams. Welcome my good brother, my frat brother, by the way, Gary Coichy. Say that now. Say your last name, bro. I always know this brother is GC.
That's Coichy.
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 Yo, welcome, brother.
Oh man, thank you, man. Thanks for having me, man. Glad to be here with you.
Congratulations, man, on your doing a damn thing and taking the podcast digital media by storm, bro. Like, but then again, I'm not surprised. Your energy is like it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about where you are right now, but I like to take my listeners through a journey in terms of what led you up to where you are right now. So we would say, take me through your journey, starting from where you from a little bit, then when you went to school and what you majored in. All right, I'm gonna let you go.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. My journey started out in Rockland County. Let's take a step back. Actually, started out in Haiti.
Wow.
I moved to the States. When I was 16. And, I learned English, really learned English at 18. So,
at 18 years old, you learned English?
Yeah, man. Because I moved here when I was 15 going 16. And I really learned English towards the tail end of my high school years. So about a year and a half to fully learn and start mastering the language. Even still now, we're talking about 22 years later, I still have an accent. But you can't get rid of that because that's just part of who you are. But yeah, I went to Nyack High School in Rockland County, which is a suburb about 35 minutes outside of Manhattan. I went to school in White Plains and Westchester. I went to Berkeley College. That's where I got my bachelor's from. And but while there, I studied international business, so I had an opportunity to study in London for a couple semesters. So I studied out in London, Regent's College. This was back in 2001. So that sort of really opened my eyes to give me sort of that global perspective.
Okay.
And then came back, and then that's basically when I kicked off my career in corporate America.
Okay, what did you do once you came back from London and you said, okay, I'm going to attack corporate America?
When I came back from London, man, it was really just trying to get in the corporate world. So therefore, I didn't feel like, unfortunately, I didn't have I didn't have a mentor or any older brother to sort of really guide me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really me trying to find my own path. So I did a couple sales gigs. I did a couple sales gigs where I was, cold calling. I did a couple door-to-door sales gigs. But I've always known that I wanted it to be in marketing.
Okay.
I wanted to be the guy in some capacity to really come up, whether with an idea, with a strategy, or the execution of a marketing campaign. I know that's what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I was always trying to find ways to get into that world so that I can really make an impact. So I got that opportunity in 2000 and I went to 2005, where I started working for an agency that focused on digital marketing.
Okay. How did you get that job?
I feel as though I asked myself that, but it was one of those days where I really hated what I was doing. I didn't feel like I was making enough money. And I literally went on Monster.com and just started applying away.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know which job I was applying to. I was just applying away. So I was applying away, and I got this email from HR lady. It was so bad. When I went to the interview, I didn't even know which when I had applied for the job.
Oh
So,
wow.
but I went on the interview and I aced it. Like, I aced the interview, and the guy was just like, man, we'd love to have you. You seem young, you seem hungry, and you seem like you seem like a sponge. We want to bring you on board where we can actually, in fact, um, mold you so you can learn more about the digital marketing industry. I was like, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Right.
And that's really what really kicked off my digital marketing career. And I went to work for that company for about close to 2 years. And then from there, I left the agency side. I went on the client side where I was working in-house for a brand. That went well also. So that's what really. So now I had the agency experience, and now I had the in-house experience. That really started to really hone, sort of really enhance my marketing skills. As to how I was approaching, different campaigns.
Right. So you said, you didn't
Yeah,
have any
man.
mentors in college. Do you acquire them during these opportunities, or, you were still trying to figure things out on your
Absolutely.
own?
No, man. I think right now, I think that's one of my, that's definitely one of my mission now to really make sure that I can be a mentor to younger brothers.
Okay.
I think I'm a firm believer that representation matters.
Uh-huh.
The more people that you see that looks like you that is doing bigger things, the more you sort of inspired to do those things, And if those people can reach back out and sort of really teach you about the process and how they got there, the better it will be for you. So I feel like I definitely made some career mistakes, but if I had a mentor, I think those would have been averted. But I still got to where I'm at now. However, I felt like I could have gotten here quicker if I had a mentor, if I really had someone that was really guiding me and really coaching me through the entire process,
Right.
even from the college selection process and what are you going to study and those types of things. I feel like they're very important, and I think mentorship is very important, and that's something I'm actually taking very serious too. I'm taking very serious, and of course, me being a part of Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity is definitely one of those things that I'm really looking to step up
That's what's
and start doing more and more.
that's what's
Yeah,
up.
man.
So, you believe in, mentoring, you've acquired, experience from both sides of the agency in terms of the 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 marketing side. What, in terms of both sides, what does that mean? Like, in terms.
Both sides means when you work for an agency, that means you have a lot of clients. You have a lot of clients that you're working for a lot of you're working for the clients, you're servicing the clients because the agencies basically people come to the agencies looking for the expertise for both strategy and execution.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I might be working on different lines of business. I might be working on the sports. I was working on Major League Baseball. I was working for Saxis Avenue was one of our clients. I was working on a pharma brand. So you're working on different verticals,
Okay.
and that's on the agency side. However, when you're in-house now, if you're in-house, you're only working for that specific brand.
Oh, okay.
You're not working on different verticals.
I
You know
get
what
it.
I'm saying?
I get it.
So yeah,
All right. Cool. Which
that's basically what that is.
so which side you thrive more in? You know, in house.
Man, that's a great question. I personally think agency life just teaches you so much more because everything is moving at 100 miles per hour.
Uh huh.
So therefore, you have to be on your toes because you have different clients. You're dealing with different personalities. You're dealing with different budgets. You're dealing with different industries. So you really have to react differently. Versus in house, if you're working for a beauty brand, you know that vertical is just all beauty. But if you're working for a beauty brand, you're working for a sports brand. You're working for a CPG brand. So therefore, you just have to react differently.
Right.
So I think agency life teaches you learn so much more being on the agency side because everything is coming at you 100 miles per
So
hour.
you got like a lot more exposure from different angles, and
Exactly.
Okay. So let's
Exactly.
get to it. Now that you've infiltrated, the marketing and what you wanted to do, what led you to see this opportunity and start Pod Digital Media?
Of course. It's. I think the first thing is, man, is being hungry and being curious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And never being complacent. So I'm definitely one of those guys that I'm never looking to stay in one place and be happy with where I'm at. I'm always saying, what is next? What are we doing next? How do we get to the next level? How do we do things differently?
Right.
And that's always been at my corporate jobs also. if I have a director role, how do I get to the VP role? If I'm at the VP role, how do I get to the SVP role? So I'm always looking for the next level, and that could either be good or bad. But when you actually have the right discipline and you're able to manage your ambitions, it can certainly take you places.
Mm-hmm.
So I certainly want to start by saying that I'm always hungry. I'm always looking for the next opportunity. Therefore, that's what led me to finding Pod Digital, to even know that the opportunity existed within the podcast.
Right.
So therefore, I've always wanted to, even though I've always had a corporate life, a corporate career, I've always wanted to own and have have a company.
Right.
And I never wanted to just have a company for the sake of saying, yeah, I'm a CEO, and you're a CEO of you, and no one knows who you are. You're not doing anything that's like delivering tangible results. That never made sense to me. So I really wanted to, when I decided to take the leap, I wanted to take the leap on something that I truly believe in, on something that I know for a fact that I can deliver. And that's when this opportunity came about. So when I saw the opportunity, and I realized that the podcast space as a new medium is growing, yet there is no multicultural representation. There is no agency that focuses on the multicultural segment. I said this was it for me. It felt right.
Right.
I've never been married before, and I think that's the feeling of when you've met the one, because your gut just keeps telling you this is it.
Wow.
And
Okay.
For months, it was, the idea was like, it was not everywhere I turned. It was something in relation to podcasts. It was something that was saying, podcasts, ad dollars are growing tremendously. New podcast is being run by Oprah, or new podcast is being run by Ellen DeGeneres. More people are joining the podcast space. So everywhere I turned, the universe made it its business to place podcasts everywhere.
Right.
So therefore for me, when the opportunity came about, I really started doing my due diligence. I did my research for about, I want to say for close to 9 months before I launched the company.
Okay.
Because I said to myself, if we're going to launch this company, if we're going to enter this new space, we need to make sure we're fully prepared in all aspects, so that we can truly make an impact.
Right.
And that's exactly what we did. Yeah, that's exactly what we did.
How are you able? I was gonna say, how are you able to gather 420 different podcasts? How did you get them to buy in to your digital media agency and what you could provide them?
I mean, it was simple for the podcasters. It was simple, simply because people are creating dope content on a day-to-day basis. Their content, it's content of good quality, and they're taking their time to create this podcast, yet they're not monetizing it. So when we came around and we said, hey, listen, you're creating a great podcast, you have a good content, however, we can really help you bridge the gap between you and some advertisers, that's an easy conversation, because no one is going to say no to money.
Basically, say,
so therefore,
I could bring you a check, period. That was it.
I can bring you a check, right. You know what I'm saying? Let me bring you a check. Let me help you monetize your show.
Right.
And I don't promise you $1 million. I don't promise you, $100 million, but I promise you, in some shape or form, we're going to bring you advertisers to your show.
Right.
And once you reach out to people and you start telling them that, and actually, in fact, you follow through and you start delivering on that, the words get around to other podcasters and say, hey, well, I've been listening to your show for the last 4 months. I didn't hear any ads. All of a sudden, you're getting all these ads on your show. Who's helping you? Oh, by the way, this company called Pod Digital Media, you need to reach out to them. So the words really got around quickly. And to this point, to this day, we have over 100 podcasters in the queue that's waiting to be represented by our team.
Wow.
So therefore, we're always looking for new shows. We're always looking for good podcasters, so that we can ensure that we have the right inventory, so we can place ads for advertising.
Right. So in terms of, we saw how you capture the podcast to your side. Now, how do you go in, get the opportunities to go in and pitch these major brands? Is it, relationships you had, or are you just cold calling, or what? take your door-to-door experience and just boom, bang down doors?
Listen, everything came into play, man. Like everything came into play, and definitely not gonna sit here and tell you it was one strategy that worked.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything from my days of cold calling, from my days of going door to door, from my agency days. Everything just came in. Everything just like everything real. All my experience from my previous life came into play in terms of making sure this company
So
was
everything
successful.
you've been
So
through kind of
therefore,
prepared you for this opportunity, right? This current moment.
absolutely, absolutely. But definitely the relationships and the fact that I've worked at all those large agencies for the past few years was definitely, of course, played a big role simply because it prepared me to understand what it takes to get on a media plan.
Mm-hmm.
How does a new medium, how do people plan out for TV? How do they plan out for radio? How do they plan out for search and social marketing, for social media marketing? So therefore, I understand all those processes, what it takes. So therefore, when I know I have a new product that advertisers are interested in, I basically know what it takes to get the eyeballs on that on said product.
Right.
So therefore, I was able to go back to those agency years, the agency experience, and reaching out to those folks I've worked with to understand to basically to have the opportunity to present them the company, my new company, what we were working on.
Uh-huh.
And therefore, podcast being a new medium, there's certainly an appetite for it. And then when you pair that with the fact that we focus on the multicultural segment, and the multicultural segment has a $3.4 trillion buying power, therefore, if you talk to them in a way that they can understand that's relatable, that's authentic, you can certainly get their attention for them to buy into your products and services.
Right. Right.
And that's what the podcast space offers.
Okay. Okay. So you think like the podcasting space is like brand new, for the most part, and where do you think the industry is going in terms of market share, revenue, and all that good stuff?
I mean, it's absolutely growing.
Mm-hmm.
It's growing. It's not going anywhere. When you understand when you understand influencer marketing, how now currently brands are paying top dollars for social media influencers to promote their brands. That's a huge deal.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think back, the radio DJ was the first influencer.
Mm.
If you think about
Right.
it, like when your DJ was saying, "Hey, this new album is coming out. Let's go buy this album." The radio DJ was the first super influencer. So therefore, if now the radio DJ, if influencer marketing is huge, right?
Right.
Because brands are buying into it. And the radio DJ was the first influencer because the fact that all the power of audio, of listening to someone tell you what it is you should buy into, what it is that you should be doing. And then now you're understanding the shift, the digital shift that's happening, because now you don't want to exactly have to, because we're all on the go to actually tune in to, let's say, Power 105 or 97.1 because you're on the go. However, with the digital space, how now you can sort of listen to your favorite DJ or your favorite personality because they have a podcast. Now the power of audio allows that podcaster to be your influencer.
Right.
So the fact that now you're listening to a podcast, and your VJ, your DJ, your favorite, financier person that's giving you financial advice, or your favorite startup guy, entrepreneur is letting you know what it is that they're doing, you're going to buy into it.
Right.
So therefore, podcast as a medium is only going to continue to grow.
Okay.
Just to give you some perspective, in 2015, the dollars being spent on podcasts was about $117 million,
Mm-hmm.
which is peanuts, by the way. However, by the end of this year, it's projected to be at $700 million.
Wow.
So this is only within a 2 year, this 2017, 2019, for it to jump that high, absolutely let you know where the medium is going.
Right.
So podcast is a category, podcast as a unit is absolutely growing.
Right. So that's dope. I mean, we're there at the right time. Where do you see Pod Digital Media in 5 years?
Podsy's a media in 5 years is right now we've grown the company from a team of one to now we have sales rep in California, we have sales rep in Chicago, we have sales rep in Detroit.
Wow.
I think for us is for us. I think for us it's certainly not only growing the list of advertisers that we have
Mm-hmm.
to bigger advertisers, but also us creating our own content, employing podcasters to create content that we will actually own. Right now, out of the 400 podcasters that we work with, we only have, I want to say, about 3 to 5 shows that's 100% owned by us.
Mm.
So within the next 3 to 5 years, like we're looking for that number to grow in terms of us owning and creating dope content
Right.
on top of still work with other podcasters, of course, but owning our own original content and growing the company to bigger and better advertising.
Right. Question: why is that number so low in terms of ownership of our own content and stuff?
Oh well, it's because we don't need to own the shows now for the ad placement.
Okay.
It's not we don't need to own it simply because given the fact that we have access to so many different podcasters, like we don't necessarily need to go ahead and own any of those shows. Like we can certainly, like you as a podcaster, we can certainly work with you and say, hey, you already have your podcast off the ground. All we want to do is leverage your platform for ad placement.
Okay.
Therefore, we don't need to own your show, because then by us owning the show means that we're taking full responsibility of paying for your studio time, paying for your equipment, etc.
Right.
We don't need to do that at this stage.
Okay. I got. Oh, so you guys going to be owning podcasts in the future?
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
okay. That's dope. Get everything, get all the revenue coming in.
Right. Exactly.
Man, so man, you've done so much in a short period of time, man. What advice would you give anyone who's looking to whatever the goals and passions they have to achieve it in such a short period of time? 6 months, 1.8 million. I'm sure that's peanuts comparing, but for someone starting from scratch, that's a lot, especially in the multicultural, market. What advice do you have for anyone who's looking to kind of get it going, to take that leap, to do whatever they want to do in terms of entrepreneurship, being creative or whatever? What would you tell them?
For anyone, it doesn't matter whether it's a podcast space, digital space, or whatever new business that you want to launch. I think it's all in the planning process.
Planning process. Okay.
If you're planning, it's the planning and also the processes that you put in place for you to be successful. Therefore, again, when I say that it took about 9 to 10 months before launching the company, that was like us making sure that the minute that we launch, from day one, that we can start going 100 miles per hour, that we're ready for whatever's coming after. So therefore, that doesn't happen. There's a lot of learning on the go that we've had to do. There's a lot of adjustments because you have to instill a level of flexibility and in your processes and also in your business. However, most importantly, your planning got to be thorough.
Right.
So therefore, knowing what you're getting into, how you're getting into it, and what role do you play? What role will you be playing?
Okay.
So therefore, once you understand that and that's crystal clear, it doesn't matter the industry. You'll always be setting yourself up for success because your planning is thorough, and then you place the right members, the right pieces in place, so that the execution part can be done seamlessly.
Right.
And I think for us is when we talk about people, we've pitched everyone. We've pitched McDonald's, we've pitched Toyota, every single brand that that recognizable brand, Coke, Coca-Cola, Sprite, like every single brand that that's a recognizable brand, we've had an opportunity to pitch them. Whether or not we've won the business, that's a whole different story. However, the fact that we've had the opportunity to pitch them still speaks to the fact that our planning process was done thoroughly enough for us to know who we're going to attack, when we're going to attack them, how do we reach them, and then how do we make sure that when we get an opportunity to get in front of them, that our story is thorough thorough enough so they can understand what it is that we're doing.
Right.
So therefore, I think everyone has ideas. Everyone wants to be successful, but the tedious part of planning and making sure that every single aspect, what happens from step A to step Z, is really thought out and planned out. Those steps get missed because everyone's trying to cut corners, and that's when you lose.
Right.
But however, when you do take the time to understand what your process looks like, from step A, I'm going to step B. From step B, I'm going to step C. Oh, I learned this in step C. Okay, cool. I can jump to step E. But making sure that at least step C, D is thought out, is addressed. That way, that's how you set yourself up for success.
Right.
So yeah, man, I really like to talk to and find entrepreneurs, small business owners about creating processes.
Mm-hmm.
The processes help you strengthening your infrastructure, and your infrastructure is now stable enough to sustain any type of pressure that comes through, so that you can go through the storms, and your business is still standing, and and you can be successful.
Yeah.
So that's definitely the advice that I have for anyone, actually.
So bottom line, you can't be like, F this job, I'm gonna quit, I'm gonna start my own business. You just gotta make sure, F this job, let me figure out what I'm gonna do, make sure I plan it from point A to point, Z. And then once you get that plans, in place, then you're like, okay, I'm ready to take this leap.
Got it.
All right. Man. Listen,
Yeah.
I know you got a lot going on, bruh. Thank you for your time. In such a short period. My podcast usually go about a longer, like an hour. But I know I'm not surprised, man. You make things happen on quickly. So, and I think you dropped a lot of nuggets within the half an hour I've been talking to you. So, thank you, bro. Appreciate your time and good luck with Pod Digital Media. Keep doing your thing, and yo. Thank you all for tuning into Reverse Ambition Podcast. It is really a pleasure sharing these amazing journeys with you. It may take some time for you to find your purpose and realize your dreams, or for your purpose and dreams to find you. When it happens, don't be afraid to pursue them. Be more afraid if you don't. Trust God, trust your journey, and most important, trust yourself, and it will all work out. Until next time, I am Kelsey Cooper, the Social Broker. Thanks again for listening.